The neon lights of the roadside biker bar flickered against the night sky, throwing shadows across the dusty parking lot where chrome glistened under the moonlight. Inside, the air was thick with smoke, laughter, and the clinking of bottles. A crowd of leather jackets and loud voices filled the space, but all eyes shifted when the door creaked open and a man stepped in. His boots carried the weight of more than just miles on the highway. His face was rugged, weathered by years most in the room couldn't imagine, but it was his steady, piercing eyes that made a few bikers lower their drinks without even knowing why. At a cornered table, 5 biker queens, famous in these parts for ruling the open road and never letting a man boss them around, burst out in laughter. They had challenged more men than anyone could count, and tonight was no different. One of them, tall with fiery red hair under a studded bandana, slammed her beer bottle down and shouted, "You think you're tough, stranger? Around here, only one way to prove it. Win and marry us all." The table roared with laughter. The other queens, each as fierce as the next, leaned back with smirks, certain no man alive could meet their challenge. The bar echoed with whistles and taunts. But the man didn't flinch. He didn't puff his chest or throw an insult back. He just stood there, calm, collected, his silence louder than their laughter. Slowly, he removed his jacket. And there, etched on his arm, was a tattoo that froze the entire bar, POW MIA, bold and black against scarred skin, with the haunting silhouette of a soldier behind barbed wire. For the first time that night, the queens stopped laughing. One lowered her drink. Another blinked hard, as if holding back tears she didn't expect. The tattoo wasn't just ink. It was a story, one written in blood, sacrifice, and pain. The man's voice broke the silence, low and steady. "Ladies, I don't play games. I buried brothers who never came home. I wear this so no one forgets them. You want me to prove myself? I already have. Every day I breathe is because someone else gave their last." The room shifted. Tough bikers looked at their boots. A bartender wiped his eyes and pretended it was just the smoke. One of the queens, the youngest of the 5, whispered, "My uncle, he never came back from Vietnam. We got that letter but never his body." Her voice cracked, and for the first time, her sisters didn't tease her for showing weakness. The man stepped closer, his expression softening. "Then you know, every name on that wall is a piece of us. And those of us still standing, we carry their weight." Suddenly, the night was no longer about jokes or dares. The queens, who had built their lives on fearlessness, found themselves humbled. They asked him to sit. And as the hours passed, he told them stories, not of glory, but of survival. Nights tied to a bamboo cage. Days when hope was nothing but a flicker. Brothers who kept him alive with whispers of their families back home. And how he never forgot the promise he made, to live enough for those who couldn't. By the time dawn peeked through the windows, the laughter in the bar had been replaced with something else, respect. The queens, once ready to mock him, now leaned in close, their eyes filled with tears and admiration. One of them said softly, "You don't need to win us. You already did. You're the kind of man this world tries to break, and you stood taller instead." He looked at them, a faint smile breaking through his sternness. "I'm not here for crowns or queens. I'm just here to remind people, freedom has a price. And if my scars can teach that, then maybe my brothers didn't fall for nothing." The bar erupted, not in mockery this time, but in applause. Strangers raised their glasses high, toasting not to a challenge, but to honor. The queens stood, each placing a hand over his tattoo, a silent promise that they, too, would carry the story forward. And that's when the camera would pull in on his face, the rugged man who walked into a bar and left as a legend. His final words echoing like a command, steady and strong, "If you believe in honoring those who gave all, if you believe in respect, then don't just scroll past this story. Hit that like button, share it, and subscribe. Let the world know we still remember. Because forgetting them is not an option." The screen fades to black, the words, "Never Forgotten," burning across the screen. A story that began with laughter ends with silence and reverence, leaving everyone who watches with a choice, to carry the memory forward, or let it die in the smoke of the bar.